Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and it was only a matter of time until things started to get messy. About a week ago today, Huke came out with this video that was honestly a revelation from a number of different angles, especially regarding some significant criticisms he had towards his former team in the Dallas Empire and his former teammate on that team. Crimsix though has other opinions on the matter, yesterday talking about it in quite some detail and saying that he will go into even more detail on the situation after the major concludes. Intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you were new as always, I greatly appreciate it. Everybody else on the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. As I say, only a matter of time until this stuff started to kick off once again. The major IV LAN environment is here. We're headed to Texas, as they say, June the 17th, that of course being tomorrow. Everything kicks off at $500,000. Beautiful stuff. Actually, some of the marketing the CDL's done from this has been quite impressive, I must say. So as Arcitys says, landed in Texas and still hasn't been hornier. Absolute classic gimmick from, well, Cellium and the boys. And, well, of course, as you can see in this tweet, a lot of the pro teams flying into Texas yesterday to get ready to go. Unfortunately though, aBeZy will not be one of those players on the subliners. People aren't going to see the famous aBeZy claps here on the main stage. So unfortunate to see the situation over there because of course yesterday the subliners did come out and confirm exactly who their replacement is going to be for the major, the claps of aBeZy that come out right there. That of course will be Decimate. After a bit of drama, a bit of back and forth between him and Priestahh, seems like Decimate will be, well obviously they just do confirm it, he will be joining them for the stage 4 major. Now is this like the ideal pick? I mean it's not a bad one by any means, I think Decimate's still certainly a very talented player down there, but not maybe the most well-liked player in the community right now with what went on with the whole Seattle situation. So interesting, right? A redemption time for Decimate most certainly to come into this team and prove, yes, okay, I can do it on the actual pro level. This is a chance I've got with the top 3 team. Let's come in here and, show him what I've made of it, he says, or as the subliners say right here, prove that he can actually still do it on the top level. Like him, of course, he's been in the Pro League a couple of years ago, but the Seattle opportunity was somewhat squandered, you might want to say. So Decimate's into their team. I think that the team is such a huge part of their communication and, being a selfless piece to their team. I'm not sure Decimate necessarily has that style to his game, and obviously it's going to be tough with only a couple of days to practice before getting out there, but, it's still a reasonable replacement, all things considered, but still puts subliners in a very difficult spot, right, that a team can't be out there. So really unfortunate. As Clay says, appreciate JT filling in for us on such short notice. Hope we can do some damage. I thought this was funny. Decimate's mother comes back in and replies, legit thanks to your tweet. If it wasn't for Decimate's mum, atting her son or whatever, then it seems like Decimate wouldn't have even been on this team. So, well, Decimate's mum coming up massively clutch in this one, no doubt about it. Simp says, made it to Texas, event time, woo. The time has officially come. So, this is what happened with Huke about, I'm pretty sure it was last Wednesday. Who came up with this video? There was obviously a lot to talk about here. The whole Adderall stuff, the whole situation, like the psychedelics thing, and then his new team in Los Angeles. Thieves apparently believed the rumors that were going on and rumors that were started apparently within the Dallas Empire camp. Now, Huke said quite a few times in this video the fact that he felt very isolated from the Dallas Empire squad. The rest of the guys felt like they weren't quite on the same wavelength with him, and when he was having issues, at least somewhat felt a bit downright. It's not like the team actually reached out to him to talk about it. I'll show those clips for you guys in a couple of seconds here. But of course, Crimsix, as we said at the time, there's always other sides of the story to this, because these accusations from Huke were pretty serious, to be honest. Like he was saying that, I felt particularly down. I was in a tough spot. I mean, last year, I was very much, I tried to help out the rest of my team if they were feeling down for whatever reason, and Dallas Empire and the rest of the guys didn't do that this season. In addition, apparently spreading rumors about me behind the scenes, which could have affected me getting picked up to the Los Angeles Thieves and potentially actually got me benched off that team because supposedly they didn't talk to me about it as well. There's so many things here. It's can you really believe that Huke, no one said a word to him about anything? You'd imagine maybe he's, talking about things in general terms and not specific instances, but still, he did talk about it, of course. And the Dallas Empire did come out with a video. It was Hastro and Rambo actually that sat on camera and just talked for a couple of minutes the fact that they were proud of Shotzzy, talking about how he'd made all these changes to improve his life, and they said that, he was only benched for gameplay reasons a couple of times in that video, but they didn't really address the accusations that no one on the organization had actually tried to help Huke out with this situation as it was transpiring at the time. So, then of course Crimsix comes out with a bit of an explanation, as he says right here, and then I'll share what Huke had to say. So, I was willing to take the flak from everyone if the other option was explaining our decision to drop Huke in detail and potentially ruining Kyler's chances of getting on another CDL team. So, kind of saying that, look, if we explained why we benched Kyler, publicly at the time, that potentially would have ruined Kyler's chances, that being Huke's chances, of getting on another team. Really interesting, right? Because if Crim had to come out publicly, I guess, and Thieves had to come, or Dallas Empire had to come out publicly and say, look, this is why we're dropping it, this is all the mistakes Huke is making on the mini-map, or in terms of gameplay decisions, or in terms of communication, or whatever the rumor happened to be at the time, maybe that would have affected him getting picked up in the future, so they decided not to do that, I suppose, to be a good team or whatever. Then there comes a point where you need to stick up for yourself and for the sake of your team. Upon seeking advice from people I respect in the gaming community, public relations, and legal entities. Very interesting. I will be addressing the decisions we've made regarding our roster changes with Huke sometime next week after the major. Crimsix continues here in quite some detail, but I'll play the Huke clip first.
I stuck to the game plan. We win the match. You know, everyone seems like they were fine. You know, I text the team later that day. I'm like, yo, like, who's trying to play? No one responds. And then, you know, I get a call from Ray and Pastro, whatever, and they're like, you got benched. Yeah, we're gonna announce it in 10 minutes. Not a single word from my teammates. Not a single word from anyone about anything I was doing wrong. Yeah, it was hard because I won champs with those guys. I felt like we were a really good team, and I mean, we were like a unit. That's how we always were, like, especially last year. We were a unit. We had good communication throughout the whole year. And to really feel like I didn't get, like, for example, like, whenever, you know, they were down last year, like ILLey, and it's like, you know, I saw that they were down, and I sat down and talked with them, and we had this communication. And it was like this year, you know, maybe I was a bit down during stage 2, and no one really reached out to me. Actually, no one did reach out to me and, you know, try to lift me up or anything like that. If any, you know, it's one of those things, like, to be a team, you don't want to, like, talk to your own teammate, you want to lift them up. And that's how I look at it, and that's how it was last year. And, you know, it was the complete opposite. It was, I'm getting degraded, disrespected, and I don't know if they thought that was going to help, but I told them it wasn't.
So this is where Crimsix starts to go off on the main stage. You believe me if I said we asked Kyler it was okay thousands of times. So this is what Crim has to come out and say. Of course, Huke saying in that video the fact that he didn't really feel like the team was talking to him much, like no one ever reached out to him initially when he got dropped, and then after the fact as well, or like during stage 2, for example, when he was feeling somewhat down, they, you know, didn't necessarily reach out to him. Now, Crimsix certainly has a different opinion on the matter, and I imagine he'll go into more detail on this in whatever video he's going to come up with after the major. Certainly looking forward to that one. But as he says, like, I asked if Kyler was okay thousands of times, like, obviously hyperbole to some degree on that one, but still, like, Crimsix talked to him apparently a lot about this, and if that's true, why did he mention that we never once said that, or we never once did that in the video, right? So, really interesting stuff. So he lied that you guys never talked to him. Correct, he says. So, like, yeah, Huke's straight up lying about this issue. This is the crazy stuff. I literally almost crashed my Porsche going out of my way to call him mid-stop and go traffic to ask him what is going on. Think about that. I almost got physically injured, ruined one of my passions outside of gaming, that of course being like race driving and stuff, took a financial hit just to make sure he was okay. And that was only once out of about at least 50 times. Wait until the video he says. Now, this is a classic Crimsix, you know, mentioning the Porsche, but still, this is kind of crazy, right? Now, first of all, don't call anyone while you're driving. Not a good idea. Crim does explain that here in a second, the fact that he never does this, and I'm kind of using this as a, like, just to kind of explain how much out of his way he went to make sure Huke was okay. The fact that he would do this in a situation like that, when, you know, I imagine the other times, like, he wouldn't happen to be driving at the same time, and what could have possibly been going on to mean that Crimsix had to call him, like, while he was in mid-traffic to check what was going on, and as he said, like, risk, ruining one of his passions or risking getting physically injured or whatever. So, I don't even know what's going on anymore. This is just absolute insanity. Crim does explain it in greater detail, right? You know, shouldn't be on your phone whilst driving, pal. That's certainly true. And I never do. That was my point. That was the length I was going to look out for him. So, like, this is the thing with only one side of the story, when he comes out with his perspective, right? And talks about the fact that no one on his team has ever mentioned it to about him. And then Crimsix comes out a few days later and just says, well, yeah, actually, that was completely false. Like, I definitely did try to talk to him many a time, including this situation, just to show, like, how far out of my way I was going. And as he says right here, like, you know, people are talking about how he had to flex on the Porsche. You realise driving, going to the racetrack is a huge passion of mine. Would be, you know, would stupid flex or flaunting wealth comments change if I had a Honda Civic that I tracked? Probably. It wasn't meant as a flex. It was meant to show I would do something so stupid just to help him out. And clearly, that is not Huke's perspective on the matter. So, very much intrigued to see what the next steps of this are. But, yeah, I mean, this is getting messy very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. And it can only go up from here, to be honest. As this is Huke's brother that had a few things to say about Crimsix, most certainly. Kyler wouldn't deny you'll asking if he was okay, even though he did kind of say that in the video, to be honest. It just seemed to come off more from a place of frustration from tourney results rather than actual genuine concern for the, you know, the health of Kyler as an individual. I mean, you were questioning him as early as the stage 1 finals when he, you know, was fine and they actually made the grand finals of that event up against Atlanta FaZe as it was at the time. So honestly, remarkable stuff. Very much intrigued to hear your perspective here in the comment section below. This came out from TJ as well. A lot of you guys are after me in the replies. I thought, oh my god, wow, there's another like big juicy thing happening today. Turns out it's this. Important, please read. Crimsix is fat. It is official. TJ coming out with the absolute fire here on the timeline. But well, thankfully all is okay with TJ at the present time. As the flags say, need this. Porter versus Garland. I mean, Crimsix going off on the main stage as of late. We've got the Crimsix versus formal stuff. We now got the Crimsix versus Huke stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, during the major, after the major, it's a very interesting time to say at the very least to be a Call of Duty competitive fan right now. And while this also interesting from the Call of Duty League, tune into the debrief number 2 presented by T-Mobile this Wednesday or whatever, when Crimsix is going to be chatting through Major 4. So I don't know if during this we'll get any like kind of hints towards this situation. It is possible, probably not, but something to keep your eyes on at the very least, this Call of Duty League conversation they're going to be having, because well, I'm sure Crimsix versus Huke, I honestly thought when this Huke stuff initially came out, like, this is going to have implications for quite a long time, because it was a 33 minute video, right? There was a lot discussed, and there was a lot to be followed up on in the future, and I kind of said at the time when I made the video, like, this does warrant some response from Crimsix probably, and from the rest of the team more generally, and seems like it's only a matter of time until that does indeed happen. We did have to wait quite a while for the Huke video to come out initially, and well, Crimsix of course, maybe we'll have to wait a while for his video to come out after the major, but we'll see what we can do most certainly on that front. Thought I would mention this as well, because as I said, the Crimsix versus formal stuff, the OpTic versus Empire stuff, that is up first. I don't think there's a great chance that Empire play Thieves. That's always what I think about, right? When there's beef between two players, I'm like, okay, could they play at the major? But it doesn't seem like it. I think if Empire loses, I think maybe they'll go down to the bottom side of the bracket. I can't exactly remember, but still, Thieves are going to have a tough time making their way through losers anyway, so, and maybe Empire don't, well, let's say they win or lose, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's pretty unlikely these two teams do indeed matching up, but if they do, could be fireworks on the stage, as we may well see this major in greater fate in some of these other matchups as well. But very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really upset the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.